Welcome to MMAPlay365. I'm Newsome, and I'm here to give you the Baze AI UFC prediction software recap from last weekend at UFC 276. Now, in the last 4 events, in no particular order, the UFC prediction software Baze AI has hit a straight pick percentage accuracy. It's 67%, 72%, 77%, and 82% as well. Phenomenal numbers. I keep banging that drum about how special the Baze AI algorithms are and how it's getting better each week. Last weekend at UFC 276, it hit 100%. 10-0, all 10 fights predicted absolutely correctly. And honestly, there's just no words for how amazing that is. That's insane. I didn't think we'd ever be having this breakdown, this recap of me saying that Baze AI has hit 100%. It's phenomenal. Now, like I said, 10-0, and you'll be wondering what happened to those other 2 fights because there was 12 fights on the night. So I'll explain that and the reasons why we haven't factored that into the 10-0, which are obvious reasons once I've explained it. But the first fight, Julija Stoliarenko versus Jessica Rose Clark. Now, the AI actually predicted that fight to be a 50-50 coin flip, and that's not 50.0001. It was a straight up 50-50 fight. The Baze AI really couldn't get an edge, even the slightest of edge on either side. So that's not a winner, and it's also not a loser because it's a complete coin flip. Now, if you are wanting to really dig a little bit deeper into that, Stoliarenko to win 50%. Odds implied plus 100. She was plus 150 on the betting line, so you've even got some value there. Or you can take this even further, and this is the best part. Stoliarenko to win by submission. Bear in mind, that's her MO. That's the way that she wins the majority of her fights, by armbar as well. So Stoliarenko to win by submission was actually 37%. Now, for her to win by knockout was 0.06%. For her to win by decision was like 8%, so barely nothing at all. So the AI was saying, look, she's going to win by submission or she's not going to win at all. 37%, odds implied, that's plus 170. You could have had plus 400 with a submission on the money line. So, like I said, even though the Baze AI had that at 50-50, it wasn't a winner or a loser, so we can't factor that into an overall result because, like I said, that didn't win and it didn't lose either. But from a value perspective, there was a ton of value in that fight from the AI's predictions, from the money line, and from the submission prop as well. So the second fight that we haven't factored in, and again, this makes a ton of sense as well, Sean O'Malley versus Pedro Munhoz. Now, obviously, this fight was deemed a no contest in the second round. So, you know, even if you'd have bet that fight, if you'd had any bet on that fight, the bookies should have been pushing that and refunding you your stake back. That's what normally happens in the UK anyway. So, because of that, the AI didn't have a winner or a loser in that fight either because it was a no contest. Neither fighter won, neither fighter lost. Just for the sake of, you know, the recap, O'Malley to win was at 59%, odds implied minus 144. He was minus 300 on the betting line. So there wasn't any value on the betting line compared to what Baze AI was giving the odds implied percentage. But I actually think, and even when you watch the fight, that O'Malley was much closer or looked much closer to minus 144 than he did a minus 300 favourite. So props to Baze AI for saying that that line was too wide and it should have been closer. However, like I said, still, there was no winner or loser in that fight. So again, it couldn't be factored into that overall 100% pick accuracy across the straight picks. Now, like I've said, 10-0, I'm going to quickly run through all 10. We normally pick and choose and delve in deep, but for this one, I'm just going to run through every single prediction just to see what the AI is sort of picking and give a little bit of a conclusion at the end. So, like I've already mentioned, Julija Stoliarenko was at 50%. And Sean O'Malley was at 59%, but they didn't factor into the 10-0 because Sean O'Malley's fight, there wasn't a winner or a loser. And from the Baze AI perspective with Stoliarenko and Jessica Rose Clark, there wasn't a winner and loser there either because it was 50-50, 50% across both fighters. So Dricus du Plessis to win 59%. So that was obviously a winner. The rest of these obviously are going to be winners with the 100%. So Dricus du Plessis versus Brad Tavares, du Plessis to win 59%. Maycee Barber versus Jessica Uriah, Maycee Barber to win 65%. Andre Muniz versus Uriah Hall, Andre Muniz to win 57%. Jim Miller versus Donald Cerrone, Jim Miller to win 57%. Ian Garry versus Gabe Green, Ian Garry to win 52%. Bryan Barberena versus Robbie Lawler, Barberena was the underdog of the dog of the week from the Baze AI UFC prediction software. Bryan Barberena to win 54%. Jalin Turner versus Brad Riddell. Jalin Turner to win, 51%. Alex Pereira versus Sean Strickland. Pereira to win, 51%. But if you want to take this a little bit further, and I will expand slightly on this, Alex Pereira to win by KO TKO was 41%. So only 10% less. Get much more value on the betting lines going with Pereira by knockout rather than Pereira's money line. But still value on both sides there, whether it be money line or that KO prop. Alexander Volkanovski versus Max Holloway 3. Alexander Volkanovski to win, 56%. Then Israel Adesanya versus Jared Cannonier. Israel Adesanya to win at 51%. So they're the 10 that have won. Like I said, 100% prediction accuracy across the straight picks. Now, there were a couple of ones that were eye-opener to me. One of them, the last one that I mentioned, Israel Adesanya, only at 51%. Like I said, it's not going to be like a super computer that's got everything 100% of the time. It got the winner right, but I do believe that it should have been a little bit wider, but that's going to happen from time to time. And there was a couple of different percentages like that as well. Like, for example, in my opinion, Alexander Volkanovski should have been higher than 56%, but also I get the side of Max Holloway's volume and his pressure and the way the AI would have calculated that into its algorithms. But like I said, it's hard to not be anything but absolutely thrilled from last weekend. 100% pick accuracy from the winning predictions and also the fights that were completed. 10-0 across the board. Like I keep saying, the Base AI is special. The UFC prediction software is something great. It's something amazing that's only going to get better over time. We're having phenomenal feedback from it at MMAPlay365 as well from the subscribers. So, like I said, all in all, absolutely delighted. Looking forward to see what it predicts next weekend for UFC Vegas 58. Of course, we'll have another recap after that event as well, this time next week. I'm Newsome. Thanks for listening. We'll see you again next week.